But let the brotherhood and the sisterhood know we are convening tonight, okay? Let the sisters know I'm coming. I'll be right back. Give me less than 2 minutes. We're gonna start the countdown here, and I'll be right back. And we are going to have some in-depth discussions tonight about toxic femininity, about divine femininity. Do you know the difference? I can't do this by myself, y'all. This is gonna be tight. So hang on one second. Hello, good evening. I could take that off because we done started now. Hello, everyone. Should I put the music back on? Yeah, we're gonna put the music on. We're gonna put the music on. Just gonna turn it down a little bit. Hello, everybody. Hi. I kind of decided at the last minute to come on live, so I do hope that that the notifications go out and that we get an opportunity to have a good, solid group here tonight. With spring having started, I wanted to discuss toxic or divine femininity, I should say, versus toxic femininity. Now, in a little bit, hey, Miss Keza, hey, Shiny, hey, Renee, hey, Ceresia, hello, everyone. Just a little bit, we're going to drop the link and hopefully, we're going to have, a chat a little bit about this. I will tell you why this came about. Lately, I've been hearing around the way, I've been hearing various statements that have been made over the last few months and some very recently from what we would determine to be strong women, specifically strong women of the melanated variety, but strong women, period. And I will tell you, some of it is irking my last earthly nerve. And I will tell you why. There is a big difference. There is a big difference between toxic feminine energy and divine feminine energy. However, in this quest for female empowerment and in this quest for equity rather than equality, in this quest for I am woman, hear me roar, all of the sudden what's happened is we've ended up with a level of toxicity that if we don't watch it, it will end up dividing and killing off. And it will destroy rather than uplift. So right off the bat, please find a strong woman. I'm going to say that there are certain qualities of strong women. A strong woman has nothing to do with how loud you can yell. A strong woman has nothing to do with, wow, there's a lot that a strong woman doesn't have anything to do with. But there can be a strength while it's still a weakness. So let me put it like this. Do you have to be a strong woman to raise children? Yes. Some people would say you have to be stronger to raise them on your own. I don't know that that's entirely true all the time. Do I wish I had someone? Do I wish that I had, their fathers with me to help raise the kids? Oh, you're being sarcastic? I thought you were being serious. See, don't play with me. Anyway, let me finish that thought though. Do I wish sometimes I had had a man? Of course I wished I had had either, my ex-husband or Al, which was my ex-boyfriend who I had Alicia by, but he was very much a father to the older two. Do I wish he had been in our lives the whole time? Yeah. Would it have been easier? Yes. Did it require any less strength? Absolutely not. Or any more strength? I don't know. I can't tell you because it's a different set of parameters. But what I'm hearing from these strong women and these loud women lately, I'm hearing from loud women. There's a commentator on Fox Soul by the name of Cynthia G. And I don't watch Fox Soul. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like that's not on my playlist. Primarily because there's a lot of takes that they have that I think are very disempowering, disingenuous, and just bad for the culture. Yes, I'll tell you how I really feel about that another time. I said a lot, I didn't say all, but I say a lot. Just like there's a lot of takes that I hear from other people that are supposed to be leaders in the Black community that I think are nothing but divisive, derisive, disempowering, and don't further the community or the cause, so to speak. That's my opinion. Take it or leave it. I don't care how you feel about it, to be quite honest with you. However, she's a commentator of some sort, I suppose. It's what I hear on Fox Soul. And she also has a channel here on YouTube. And so she also does her own little lives here on YouTube. And she continually makes commentary that is explosive and divisive. Thanks, Kenzie. Thank you, Kenzie J. They continue to make these commentaries that are explosive and divisive. One of which recently, and I was just trying to just get the audio for it. I might still be able to do so. One of which recently, she basically blamed the Black man for all the ills in the community, and were saying that if she had been pregnant with a Black son, that she would have chosen not to have it. And that all of us should choose not to, so that we can eradicate the problem in the community. That is toxic femininity. That is using your womb as a weapon. That is toxic femininity. You see, we have to understand that our feminine nature, by nature, whether or not you have ever born a child or not, your feminine nature makes you a carrier of life. Your feminine nature makes you a carrier of life. It makes you an incubator. It makes you a birther. It makes you a manifester, a bringer into this world, a person, an entity, an energy that ushers into this world a manifestation of that which is spoken, that which is thought, that which is of higher external, exterior dimensions. Yes, she uses bias confirmation in her storylines. Absolutely. Yeah, I know y'all are shocked. I want to there are so many courageous. Hey, Erica, how you doing, baby? Oh, I would say she's traumatized because she also has a lot of issues with, she makes a lot of different discussions and statements regarding biracial people and how they should speak and how they should refer to themselves based on what ethnicity their mother is. Now, I'm saying this to say this. There's other examples of toxic femininity. I could point to a lot of the people that are like maybe on them Housewives, any reality TV show, just about. I can point to toxic femininity even in our government, on our news channels. Toxic femininity is femininity that is weaponized. That instead of creating, it is a femininity that seeks to destroy masculinity in some form or fashion rather than get to be in balance with, in balance, not imbalance. Toxic femininity seeks to take over rather than as opposed to divine femininity, which seeks to be in balance and empowered and live in the power of and express the power of the feminine nature. Hey, Miss Debbie. That's good, honey. And I thought about you today. I haven't forgot about you. You're on my radar. okay, that seeks to do that instead of. What do I mean by that? When I just said a few minutes ago that our very divine feminine nature, our divine feminine nature is that which can take a spoken word and bring it into a manifestation, life, living, breathing entity here. We are birthers, right? We are conduits and channels. We are able to hold a promise and bring it into its purpose. We are able to be impregnated with promise and then bring it into reality. How do I know that? We only need to look at the story of Mother Mary and the Immaculate Conception. There was a spoken word. And by the acceptance of the spoken word and faith in and the feminine love, manifestation, gestation, abilities, and capabilities, she birthed a consciousness into the earth. We see the same story with Isis. We see the same story. Who else was a virgin birth? Did Herod give? No, actually, Zeus. Well, anyway, that's a whole nother story. There are different deities throughout, I will say, melanated spirituality, where you see this happen on numerous occasions, where there is the feminine, the female energy, and gives birth to, we have the seven sisters. We have Lemurians that came and gave birth to various different forms of humanity. We're the birthers. So we could either give further birth to toxic energy or use our womb as a weapon, or we can give birth to divine balanced energy. The divine feminine, when she is in complete operation and in complete understanding of who she is and what she represents. Oh my gosh. She is much more powerful than we give her credit for. Why? Because she is in full control of her emotional energy. She is in full control over her emotional energy. She has an understanding and an understanding that her emotions will either set the world on fire, it could potentially drown, or it could potentially uplift, it could potentially destroy just as much as it can give life. See, divine feminine energy seeks to understand first and then adds an energetic flow to a situation that the masculine can't handle. Why? Because the masculine can't sit in there long enough for fertilization and gestation to take place and incubation to happen. See, when you have your divine feminine energy there and ready to go, when she is in balance and she is empowered, she could take 10 months for the promise to be fulfilled unto her. Whereas the man is like, look, come on now. Why does this take 10 months? We ain't get the time. We ain't got time for it to take 10 months. Right? But the woman, the feminine energy, can hold that promise. Can hold that promise. And can nurture it and love on it and protect it and then bring it into the world. The masculine can't do that. Not on his own. It is impossible. So we could take a word. This is why when people say words to us, it hits us harder than it hits men. Because we become, for us, the word is life. Again, we only need to look to Mother Mary. Word is life. We speak, or we have a word spoken over us, and then our spirit moves, and when our third dimensional self gives up the will and says, you know what? Thy will, higher good. What is of my highest good? I'm just here as the vessel, third dimensional avatar. I'm just the incubator. But when we're operating in our divine feminine, we are always operating from a position, right, of purpose. We are always operating from a position of purpose. We are always operating from a position of, I want to say, of pregnancy almost. We're waiting for that next thing that we can bring into existence. That's what we're waiting for. When you have this toxic femininity, aka a Cynthia G, oh Lord, I'm gonna say some names. Who else do I feel like is toxic? I think it is toxic femininity to try to demand that things be done for us just because we're women. Can I tell you something? Y'all not gonna like me by the time I'm done. What, sweetheart? Yes, like Sharina, Wendy's ex's mistress, toxic feminine. That's a good one. For those of you who do not know, Sharina is Kelvin Hunter, his baby mama, or so he put it last night, his partner. And Kelvin is Wendy Williams' ex. So, which, by the way, someone told me the other day to take turmeric, and I don't know where this was. It might have been in class, in my Tuesday night class, the Practical Light Worker. And if you're listening to me, thank you, because I took turmeric this morning and my cough is gone. Okay. Dry cough, gone. Turmeric, didn't take too much. Anyway, so Sharina's toxic. Why is Sharina toxic? Sharina was hanging around working for Wendy Inc., working on the Wendy Williams show for years, right? Now, it took two to tango. The man knew he was married. So does she. But she could have taken her women or her feminine wiles and entranced someone else. She didn't have to keep entrancing that woman's husband. Right? Toxic. She didn't have to. So there is culpability. I don't put the majority of the culpability on her, because he had some choices. Okay? He could have chose not to for 10, 15 years. Let's be real. But she, of course, has culpability, and she worked there. She knew they was married. That's a problem. What I was also going to say is, guys, toxic femininity can also be where we start believing things that aren't true, and then that gets us in a place not a place that's not in power, right? A place that is in fear and powerlessness, right? What do I mean by that? If we believe the story that there is a wage gap because of gender in certain positions, I'm going to really push back at you. Why do I want to say that? Because I hear that a lot. I hear it a lot from a lot of feminists and a lot of, right? Oh my God, there is the wage gap. Actually, there really isn't. There's a few things that are true. One, they tend to be comparing men and women that have differing levels of expertise in an area or experience. Two, it is a known fact that women do not negotiate as tough for their salaries when they're changing jobs or they're getting promotions as men do. Now that might sting a little. But for all my working women out here, all my career women out here, I want you to think about it. There's very few of us that will come back and forth and negotiate back and forth on a salary when it's offered to us, when we're going to get a new job or when we're going to get a promotion. Also, we tend to charge less for the same services than our male counterparts. And I can tell you that from working with light workers, healers, and such in the spiritual world. So toxic femininity is us buying into these lies without looking at the truth behind what the lies are. Here we got some more toxic femininity. All this body dysmorphic BBL surgeries is toxic. Absolutely. How is this empowering to a woman? It isn't. So you want to go, now granted, I need to get rid of some of the fat on the land, okay? I have a lot of fat on the land. I could live a while, okay? Which is why intermittent fasting works so well for me. Now, and I could get that and take it and put it in my hindquarters. But why am I finna go through all that? So I could look like a Barbie doll that I've never looked like before? And that's not healthy? We're all not meant to have an unhealthy looking Barbie doll figure. We're just not. We're not. And if you're really doing it for you, that's one thing. Like, I'm losing weight right now for me and for, people will say, oh, because you want to be healthier. Honestly, my health is not bad at all. I know people might look at me and say, oh my gosh, there's no way she's overweight. There's no way she's healthy. Sorry to break it to you. Yes, I have high blood pressure, but it's under control. Sorry to break it to you. I don't have heart issues. You know what I'm saying? I don't have diabetes. I don't have, a whole multitude of other things. I don't even have high cholesterol. So for me, it's more about aesthetics, and so that I can finally get off all the high blood pressure medication, right? I can get off of it for good. And I just want to, right? Because I don't want my joints and things like that. I have arthritis, but that's from running. Okay. And some of it's genetic because it's osteoarthritis. So I think that's genetic. I could be wrong. Anyway, long story short, but I want to because I want to. But so often there's this, because you see the Cardi B's and the Nicki Minaj's and Meg is natural, I think. But you see the other ladies that have all had all these surgeries, and we have this unhealthy body dysmorphic point of view, right? View of ourselves that we feel like we need to spend tens of thousands of dollars, right? Hey, Melinda J. How are you? What else is toxic and what else is divine femininity? Toxic femininity. Oh, toxic femininity. When we expect to be chosen for certain things simply because we're a woman, meaning a job, meaning, I don't know, an appointment in government, meaning whatever. Why do you want that? When you say, well, there should be a woman in that position. Okay, why? Why is it not the best person for that position? There are some women that are in public office right now that are trash and need to be sent back to wherever they came from because they're dumber than a box of rocks. Absolutely. Completely. No, there's plenty of men that fit that category too. So to me, dumb as a box of rocks goes on either side. That is a one side. That's a fits anybody. Okay? You could be dumb as a box of rocks. What else is toxic femininity? Always trying to tear men down is toxic femininity. Always trying to tear men down is toxic femininity. I'm going to say it. I am not a fan of the manosphere. I think a lot of them are toxic males. But I've said this before. We created the Kevin Samuels of the world, guys. We created the manosphere, ladies. We did. You know how we created the manosphere? Running around here saying that men had to make a certain amount of money to be bothered with us. Running around here saying men had to buy us certain things to be with us. Running around here and saying men had to spend a certain amount of money to be with us. And all of these things. That's how we created it. Not saying I want a man who has good character, who is a hardworking man, right? Who will care about his family above all else, who will care for his children above all else. We created that manosphere. And then now we want to complain because they're saying what we basically told them to say. Because they flipped it around. Is it right for them to say some of the horrific things they say about women? Especially the Kevin Samuels of the world, especially the Tommy Sotomayors of the world, especially the Fresh and Fits of the world. Absolutely not. And if any one of those yahoos has anything to say, I don't care. You can sit here with your shallow relationships, or really not even relationships, fresh and fit, because you basically have been caught already. You've been caught already basically telling women that unless they sleep with you, they can't come on your show. So you can't get a girl other than to have her sleep with you to come on your podcast. That's pretty sad. Kevin Samuels, I've yet to see you with a woman. I've yet to see you date anybody. You have multiple failed marriages. So why should men listen to you? Now, what I'm doing right now is not toxic femininity. This is actually divine femininity. I'm letting you know I'm being that mother and that auntie, that sister, that good girly to like hip you up on something, put you up on game, okay? The majority of the men in the manosphere can't get a woman. Definitely not the woman that they're claiming that their high-valued selves deserve. However, we created them. So toxic femininity does two things. It either degrades masculinity, and I'm not degrading those men for their masculinity. I am talking to them about how they treat women. How they treat women. How they objectify women. Right? Not just objectify women, because can we all just be real for a second? We all like to get the attention. Can we be real? Can we be real? Come on, ladies. I'm not the only one that likes the attention, that likes it when a man compliments me, that likes it when a man says you're beautiful, that likes it when a man says you're sexy, that likes it when a man says I find your intelligence and da-da-da-da-da sexy. Your ambition, it's sexy. You're just a wonderful woman, da-da-da. We like that. Can we not? Can we just? That is being in your divine femininity. That is being in a receptor, a receptive state of being. That's divine femininity, being able to receive. Because all of that good energy, do you know what that does for you? That stimulates your sacral chakra and your solar plexus chakra and your root chakra. That stimulates all of that, all those creative juices. That stimulates all of that creativity and the creative ability within you, because you are being admired, adored, and loved and appreciated for who you are in your very essence. That's what that does. Now you could take that as on a crass level. They cramped up in that room doing that podcast. Yes, they do. Fresh and fit, they sure do. Right? We can enjoy all of that. That's divine feminine energy, is being able to receive compliments, being a receptor, receptor of love, right? Receptor of the promise, receptor of the passion that's going to ignite the purpose, okay? And so if we're going to operate in true divine feminine energy, it's okay to be the receptor. But being divinely feminine doesn't mean that you're a doormat. Okay? It doesn't mean that at all. So the toxic feminine woman or feminine energy is going to go run along and be all up in those guys' face and be looking for some sort of validation from some fools in the manosphere, right? That's what she's going to be doing, because she doesn't know her own value. The divine feminine woman does. The divine feminine energy does. When it's in balance with the masculine. It's toxic when it's out of balance, either above or below. So for Cynthia G to basically say that Black men are the problem and the root of all the whole problem in the Black community. No, I can't go along with that. And that if she were pregnant, like, I don't even understand how you say that. Because isn't it partially us that haven't required certain things, right, of our men? Maybe. I think so. I look back on things and I can say I did not require nearly what I should have. I did not. I just kind of went along with the, you know what, they were trash. I should have known not to have children, should not have known to marry them. They were trash and they never be anything more than trash. And I'm just going to try to make it, I'm not going to talk bad about them in front of the kids, but that's the way it is, right? That's not right. Like, I should have held myself to a higher accountability, and I should have held them to a higher level of accountability. And that's more than just child support. So but that's very toxic. It's very nasty. It's very hurtful to hear a mother say that she would end a pregnancy if it were male. That's beyond me. That's beyond. Beauty pageants do encourage toxic femininity as well. Anytime we have objectification, right? However, let me just say this. In some regard, do you think that it's completely unhealthy for the young ladies that are participating in it? Or some of them getting to have talents and displayed and have an opportunity to be, seen and parlay some of that into a career that they might not would have before. I think the parents can be toxic when they're toddlers. You guys remember that show Toddlers and Tiaras? Do you remember that show? Wasn't it on TLC? That was crazy. They were like crazy stage mamas. But Shiny, that brings up a whole nother point. That there can be both divine and toxic energy in the midst of one kind of situation of feminine energy. They get scholarships and a platform. Absolutely. So there can be some divine, feminine, positive energy all wrapped up in, there could be toxic energy in there as well. I think for us to know the difference, what we have to do for us to really be able to know the difference, what we need to do. Hey, LaShane, I just dropped the link, guys, by the way. Where is it? Did it not drop? Oh, there it is. I was like, where's my thing? Before I'm gonna pin the message. So you guys can join the stream if you like. I had to go over here and see if Desiree was here. Okay. What we have to really, at its core, see, first of all, is it in balance with our divine masculine or with the masculine energy? If it is not in balance or seeking to bring balance to it in an authentic way, then it's toxic. If the end result is somehow disempowerment or us believing in disempowerment, it's toxic. If in some way it's denigrating and trying to destroy and divide, it's toxic. Divine feminine energy is not weak, but divine feminine energy is also not destructive for the sole purpose of being destructive. We will destroy something to rebuild it and rebirth it. We will do that. But it has a purpose behind it. We won't just burn the house down just because, well, some of us might. I'm just kidding. So we won't just tear everything up just because. There's a reason behind it. There's a method behind our madness. And I think we just have to make sure that our motivations are true and our motivations are good and pure. Yeah, dance competitions as well. Yeah. Yes, the pea industry. Oh my gosh. That is even beyond, like, the corn industry. I have to be careful what I say. The abuse. It's actually toxic femininity and toxic masculinity. It's actually toxic femininity and toxic masculinity. Because It's so abusive and such a misappropriation of that sacral and sacred sacral chakra energy of creation. It's horrible. It's horrible. By and large, most of them, I think a lot of you guys know that there's a good chunk of them that are made. Those girls are not of age. There's a good chunk of it that's made, they get into this industry through various means, but they're, drugged up and doing this for hours upon hours, just abused. It is disturbing. And it degrades both men and women. So in a sense, it's like even attacking the feminine energy in men, right? Because it's still attacking that creator energy or creatrix energy. It's really sick. So now, okay, that's very interesting. So, however, if you yourself and your partner together decide to make a homemade film, it's not the same thing, right? That can be extremely fun and, romantic and amazing, as long as it never leaks out onto the internet. But, and that's never happened to me. I didn't make a comment to say that. My point is that, again, within each of these instances, you can find a bit of it that basically what happens is you have this divine kind of energy that's here, and what happens is the toxic seeks to mimic it, seeks to duplicate it, but it can't be on its same level. So it tries to mirror it in a lower vibrational way. And it becomes toxic because then it begins to injure, it begins to lower. Anything that is being said that disempowers you, gives you a false sense of empowerment, tells you, well, you can't because, and that's why we have to fight. Because you can't do this because what? Are there statistics that show that there are fewer female entrepreneurs than there are male entrepreneurs? Yep, there are. Why? Is it because that we don't have the same opportunities? Nope. Because women are less likely to take the risk of becoming full-time entrepreneurs. Because we're typically wired for safety and security, right? And stability. By and large, women tend not to actually apply for or work in 100% commissionable jobs. We don't. We don't work in a lot of high-powered sales jobs where it's the majority of your pay is commissioned either. We tend not to be entrepreneurs, and then when we do, we tend to be entrepreneurs in overall lower paying entrepreneurial endeavors. Some people might not want to hear this, but I got to tell you the difference. So when people are feeding you this line about statistically blah 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 blah, what that is doing is it's still putting within your mind you can't do it because somebody's stopping you from doing it. That's still toxic. It's still toxic. If someone gives you a statistic without a solution, it's toxic. Oh, here we go. We're back to the homemade movies. Don't make a homemade movie and get into a fight with your partner. Nope. And don't get divorced either. Behind making a homemade movie. Since we want to finish that discussion, if you're going to make a homemade movie, put it on your phone and your phone alone. That way you always have control of it. Don't ask me why I know these things. I'm just here to make you think. Okay? But so you hear these statistics. There's a statistic I hear a lot that especially in the women in the world of speaking, like from stage somehow, podcast or otherwise, that it's still vast majority, like 75 to 80 some percent, maybe even more, men. Okay, is that because we aren't getting the opportunities? I don't think so. I think a lot of us just don't. Or we don't figure out how. Right? So not everything that we're told that is sometimes it's meant to be a rallying cry, but if it disempowers you in any way, then it's toxic. Just don't so I don't listen to a lot of that. I hear it. People will tell me all the time, "Oh my gosh, you've been in business for more than a year and almost 2 and you were able to quit your full-time job and you haven't gone back to work, like you made it past like the critical time period. Like you're going to be fine." I'm like, "Great, thanks." And they're shocked. They're like, "Oh my god, how did you get to?" "What do you mean? I did what I needed to do." I what? You know, I just don't like going on and on and on and on about about how I'm lucky or I'm this or I'm that, right? So I don't like the disempowerment. Now I am all about making sure that anybody that starts a business, if I have anything to do with it, I'm all about making sure that you stay in business past that first year because I know the statistics. So now I know how to be positive and what to do to make sure that you make it past that first year. But I don't take all of that in. I don't take all those statistics in because the flip side of it is toxic. It really is kind of giving it to us so that they can skew or somebody can skew our point of view on the world. So if you're looking at the world through divine feminine energy, and I think I will do like a mini series on this. I'm going to chop this up probably. I'm going to do a mini series on divine feminine energy. I sent out an email the other day with like 5 ways to activate your energy. I'm going to make a quick video so you guys can have it here. But I want us to really get into this receptive, incubator, channel energy because we're in springtime. This is our time. This is the absolute like epitome of feminine energy. And I don't want it to get like muddied with a lot of the issues that are going on today and diluted and you know what I'm saying? I don't want that to happen. Yep. Yeah. Well, it's not that I'm just because I'm driven. There is that. I don't listen to other people's stuff. And I make my own luck. Divine femininity is extremely lucky. Oh, we got somebody. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, Miss Lisa.
Hey, Sarah, how are you?
I'm doing fine.
Good, good. What did you have to add to the discussion?
I want to know what is your views on women in STEM?
I don't know if I have what do you mean by that?
Women in STEM meaning in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Oh, we should
Um,
absolutely be there. I
is
was a
there like,
biochemistry major. I was a biochemistry major in college.
mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
go ahead, honey.
yeah, because I'm a STEM girl at heart, and I do know from past experience because I have a bachelor's in industrial management and technology. And
Nice.
then at the same time, I planned on going, joining my dad in regards to, working with him.
Uh-huh.
However, he had warned me, like, since I have a child and I am a single parent, he kind of like shielded me away from, I'm already active enough in my son's life. However, he doesn't want that adverse effect of, the long hour schedule and less time being at home. And then, of course, there is the full statistics of not enough women, as I'm seeing in the chat, not enough women are in STEM because of the fact that they consider the subject too hard, or
Right.
so to speak. So,
Right. So I think there's two different situations, right? So two different problems
mm-hmm,
we have with that.
mm-hmm,
Yes, a lot of women feel that STEM subjects or careers are too hard for
mm-hmm,
us. I don't believe that at all. I mean, I don't believe that at all. In fact, what we do, like with my granddaughters, and even with my own daughters, but with my granddaughters especially, I'm making sure, and my son's making sure that they are not fearful of math, that they don't think that they can do math, that we buy them things that are also science based, right? So that they're
right.
learning that. Um, we make sure we explain these things to them. I'll take them to the museum as fast as I'll take them, to Dave and Buster's, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we make sure to foster that environment because and in fact I've had my oldest granddaughter saying I'm good at math like since she was 4,
Mm-hmm. That's
you know.
awesome.
But now there's some things that she struggles with, which is interesting. I don't know exactly why.
Mm-hmm.
Um but there's some things that she struggles with. I think it's because of how they're teaching math now. It's
Yeah.
confusing to me.
Yes, a lot of parents are getting that nowadays, especially me when I'm trying to go over with my son, because I tell people all the time, you know, we have lost the fundamentals of teaching the kids because everybody learns differently. And we need to get back into those fundamentals. That way we can pinpoint how each student learns. And I talk about this on my YouTube channel when it comes to education and stuff. And of course,
Absolutely.
I be looking at the math myself and I'm like, I know that answer is right. And my son is like, no, mommy, this is how the teacher taught us. And I'm like, well, shoot, it's math. No matter how much you try to, there's different ways to get to the answer as long
Yeah,
as you show your work. So,
absolutely. Absolutely. So we basically told Rayleigh's teacher, my son did. He got to it before I could.
hmm
He's told her, he said, we are not teaching Rayleigh math the way that you are sending it home. It's crazy. It's stupid. We're not doing it. We're doing
hmm
it the old fashioned because they had them estimating and guesstimating. They had them doing like multiple digit subtraction
hmm
starting from the left going towards the right instead of
Oh my
right
goodness.
to left. There was some reasoning they had behind it. I don't even know what it was because it was stupid. I don't care. So we told her straight up, like, we're not doing that. And they were like, well, no, we're not. And you're not going to downgrade her because we're teaching her correctly.
Right.
So it's harder for her because we're teaching her a different way at home than they're teaching her in school. But the
Mm-hmm.
other thing is, I think that you would remember this, right? Like if we were on a subject in math or whatever it was, we stuck with that concept until it was mastered and then moved on to the rest, right?
Right.
Not this school. Not, and I
Warp.
think this is the state. They'll teach something one day and send home homework from 2 days ago or a day ago
Mm-hmm.
instead of to reinforce what was taught in school.
That previous day. Right.
And my son asked, why are you doing that? Well, because we want to jar their brains. What? You want to what? Well, keep them on edge and what? They're in
It's like,
second grade.
yeah, they work in warp speed. We don't even have homework down here where we at. And I'm like, I feel like y'all need to put some type of reinforcement that even it's just a couple of problems. It don't have to be a whole sheet of paper, but just a couple of problems. That way the child can know exactly how to process the information when they go back to school. They'll have an idea of what's going on instead of just, okay, we're learning this today. Okay, next day it's a whole nother subject. I'm like, what? No,
Uh,
that's not the way to
n-
go.
there's a reason why rote repetition works. And in the primary grades, you got to repeat, repeat, repeat. So now
Mm-hmm.
I have flashcards. I've become my mother. My mother, I never understood why my mother had all the flashcards and the workbooks and everything for us, like around the house. Well, this is
Mm-hmm.
why. So
Exactly. I
that's
have
divine
poster boards.
femininity at work, y'all. Divine femininity. Make sure them kids learn. Make sure them kids learn. Do what you're called to do. Create your own lane. Absolutely. The marketplace rewards innovation. So I um I believe in that. And that's exactly why I did what I did. Right. And I think that you, my dear,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any reason. Yeah, they're exhausting and stressing these kids out. It's bad enough.
Yes,
They're
they
like,
are.
it's bad enough we've got all the rest of this stuff going on with the Ronas and the Covianas and the
Hmm.
Omarians, but then now this and the poor little brain. It just there's just too much. Is
Exactly.
is this a new way to prepare them for college? No, it's a new way to prepare them to fail because they ain't never gonna.
It,
How do you pass? How do you? We are. What did I hear? We're ranked like 47th in the world or something.
we're way behind in regards to education. Like,
Education.
yeah. And health wise, as far as like obesity, we're behind on a lot of things.
Yeah.
We may be still quote unquote the superpower, but we are still behind on a lot of stuff, especially education. Like I see
Yeah.
videos all the time where the kids are, learning from instruments at a younger age. They're doing what needs to be done to prepare the kids for whatever job they want to go to. Far as like college wise, they create the system where the kids that have an idea of what field they want to go to, and they create a degree plan starting in really in middle school, but definitely in high school, to where whenever you go to college, those classes can merge with the college if they're
Yep.
college accepted and credible, and then move forward however they want to go by. However, when it comes to those standardized tests, they definitely need to remove that, because I'm one of those kids that don't do well on time tests. So I'm gonna be that kid that look at the time like every 5 minutes to make sure I am completing whatever task in time. And by the time that it runs out, I only get through half of the test compared to my GPA, it withstands the whole
Yeah.
standardized test. So it's just another setback. But however, I learned from that because it did prepare me for what I can do for these college kids nowadays. Because I know they are stressed beyond measure. I got two
Right.
brothers, so they ask me for advice all the time.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I want to thank Shane for the super sticker. Thank you for the 1999. Thank you. I would sing to you like AT2, but I can't sing
Yeah.
it the way he does it. Um, but so okay, talking about that, even that aspect, it's interesting that we're talking about the children and the education in the midst of this conversation because I think it is important because we are also the educators.
Mhm.
There are other countries like I have an assistant, a VA that is in Venezuela, and you met her during the workshop.
Mhm.
Um, she was taught color theory, Photoshop, graphic art, all of that in high school.
Mhm.
In high school.
Exactly.
In high school. I'm just like, wait, what? You're in Venice. What?
It's
Oh, yeah.
preparing her. It's preparing her for what's to come.
And she's
And
already been through law school. She's actually a med school student now.
mhm.
She's working for me as a VA because she'll make more money. I'm like, why aren't you like practicing law? She'll make more money from me being a VA for me than she would being a lawyer over there in Venezuela.
Wow.
Yeah, unless she was like corrupt and with the government.
Mm.
So,
Exactly.
which she won't be. But my point is they have educated, like it's nothing for women in like Venezuela and other countries to be in a to be in STEM. I have s-
Mm.
I have students from like South Africa. I have students from, other I've had students in other countries as well where it's not as abnormal
Mhm.
for women to have degrees or be in STEM.
Right.
It's here because we have this very, no offense to anybody listening, but that still is a very, oh boy, here we go, European, patriarchal, you know, Judeo-Christian women are to be seen, have babies, and not be heard.
Mhm.
Culture. I said it, she didn't. Okay? I said it. Melinda J did not. Okay? So we're still in this culture. I mean, if you guys, I preach the Bible. So if you look in the Bible, Paul says on numerous occasions tells you need to tell your women to shut up. I mean,
Exactly.
the women were considered property and not partners. So if so we're going to be a quote unquote Christian nation supposedly. That's what unfortunately Christianity basically puts forward. That's the energy that it puts forward, that we're to submit. Child, I can't stand that damn word. I cannot stand that word. We're to submit, and so being submissive certainly is not being a scientist. Instead, though, instead of recognizing the Proverbs 31 woman that basically worked her tail off, worked all the deals, did everything while old boy sat in the gates chilling, and everybody said, "Man, you got a good wife at home," and she done everything. Dealt with the real
Mm.
estate, the taxes, the
Mhm.
service, everything. She done cut every deal and everything. Ran the household,
Mhm.
made sure the kids was good and everything. And he's sitting his fat butt up in the gates getting praise.
Mhm.
Tess is laughing at me. Y'all don't get me started
So
because I can't stand that. I can't stand it.
I think, yeah, but overall, I think the STEM realm, it can go both ways in divine feminine and toxic feminine, because you have the ones that want to go in and they do what they love, or they figure out what they love within that realm,
Yeah.
and they step into their power in regards to that. And then you have the other side where the toxic feminine energy comes by, like, I can do anything that a man can do. And of course, we all know that it's hard for women to get into these jobs, but I'm pretty sure there is some reason to a certain extent that a woman cannot do within that STEM realm that a man can do better. So I
I don't
I'm just
know. I
I'm
don't
just happy
know.
I'm just happy that I have a degree where I can fluctuate in whatever industry I want to within the STEM realm. But hey.
I don't know that there's anything that a man can do in that realm that a woman can't.
Mhm.
I don't know that that's true. I think what happens is that because we're told, okay, you better be sure you're home with your child, and I love my kids, please. But I
Mhm.
worked very long hours and I wasn't in STEM. Do you know what I did? I went home and I got my babies and brought them back to the office with me.
Yeah.
And they did their homework with me in my office, and so we still spent time together, and they were at mama's office, and we just did our thing. You know what I'm saying? Did I feel guilty
Mhm.
about it later? I did, but actually my kids will tell you those are some of their best memories.
Yeah, I experienced it with both of my parents. They would take me to their work, and I would just sit there, do my homework, and I just be amazed at what they're doing, because I'm like, dang, my parents are doing, they're doing it, they're
Exactly.
doing the darn thing. It's like an inspiration to your kid is admiring what you're doing, and they get a sense of understanding why they're doing, well, the parent is doing what they need to do, and not only to,
Absolutely.
so not only to take care of their family, but I'm pretty sure it's something that they've always wanted to do as well. So, oh yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So, I think that the toxicity potentially would come from women who are in STEM in one of these roles and then kind of seek to sabotage other women because they don't want to have the competition, right?
Well, right.
That I could see. Now that's toxic.
Oh yeah, that is definitely toxic. I done seen some things in that realm. I'm like, y'all be shaming yourself, holding these women back from doing what they could possibly do and contribute to your company. I mean,
Mhm.
in other words,
Mhm.
the gatekeepers.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's toxic. But I don't believe that we are any less intelligent in any shape, form, or fashion. In fact, I would venture to say we're more intelligent. Why? Because we're more in tune with our higher self and our intuition. And in all
Hmm.
actuality, science is just the proof of intuition, not
Right.
the other way around. So I think we could be much better at that than them if we allowed ourselves to be. Okay, what do we got here?
Exactly.
Keza says, my two bosses are women executive vice presidents in STEM, respected by the men because of their knowledge. I love
I
that.
love it. Love it. Love to hear
Corporate
it.
bullies. That's right. Corporate
Exactly.
bullies, Tasha. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that if we really allow ourselves to flow in who we are in our divinity in this realm, because I never understood why science and spirit, so to speak, were separate. Like that made no sense to me.
Yeah, they coincide with both of each other.
Absolutely. It's one and the same.
Hmm.
So if we do that, I think that we'd be just absolutely amazing. I think that would be just I think it'd be wonderful. Um, so definitely let's do this. Let's encourage our girls to, right?
Of course. Absolutely. Hands
Yeah,
down.
definitely. Definitely. All right, honey. Well, listen, we've been on here almost over an hour already. Oh, wait a minute. And women are the first to criticize another woman. We are
Oh, yeah.
another woman's body. That's very toxic. Very, very toxic. Yeah. So we have to be better to each other, ladies. And this week we're going to talk about activating our divine femininity We're going to talk about flowing in our divine femininity. We're going to keep talking about that a little bit here and there. And I want us to come into spring and into this next new moon with a real positive. The new moon in Aries, a real positive attitude. So thank you so much, honey.
Thank you. I had to take your advice and say, click the link and see how it goes.
See, I'm not so scared. You want to tell everybody what is your YouTube channel?
It's exactly how my name is spelled on the screen, Melinda J. Just check me out. I do commentary. I do a little bit of everything. I'm a jack of all trades, and I love deep intellect conversations.
Oh,
Mm.
we are going to have to go. I'm actually going to your channel right now. I'm going to put her link in the chat, guys, for her YouTube channel right now. So if you could please go and subscribe to her YouTube channel there and let's support her.
Yes.
Let's
Yes,
let
indeed.
awesome. And those of you guys watching the replay, it's in the live chat. I always post the live chat again. So it's in the live chat. Go in and click that link and go on and subscribe to Melinda J. All right,
Thank
honey.
you, Miss
You're welcome.
Lisa.
You're so welcome. You're welcome. Hey, do you want to close this out with me? You wanna do a 3, 2, 1 bye so we can get on out here?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
All right then. 3, 2, 1. Bye,
Bye,
y'all.
everyone.
Bye. Have a good night. Have a good night, everybody.